Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it together. If you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into all of these subjects, topics, sectors, looking for potential investment opportunities. I share my opinions about what I am doing, what I think looks good, why it looks good, and the markets and sectors that I am accumulating that are down. I'm a long term investor. I'm not a short term market timer. I do try to time my purchases as best as I can. And that's where I look at the market conditions and the cycles to get the tailwinds behind you. And I invest in what I think are great risk reward companies with good technical analysis. And that's really what I'm striving to find. We do have a coupon code still active, Mayday, one word. You want to sign up, get a 50% discount on the monthly membership for 1 month, and you get a larger discount for those that are interested in signing up for a yearly membership using that coupon code. All right, let's dive in. Let's take a look. We've got a strong dollar still. That thing continues to just rip. Look at the move of the dollar off of this bottom of September of 2024. It's been nothing but rippage. Up, 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 up. Now, will this continue? With the candlesticks and what I'm seeing, the momentum is up. That is not, I don't see any reversal candlesticks. We have resistance coming up here, that big blue line that I drew eons ago. That is resistance. So we'll see if we can punch through that or if we get some resistance and make a turn there. And that's not what I'm projecting or predicting. Just saying that there's resistance ahead of us and the momentum is up. We're going right into that resistance and we'll see if it cuts through it. Generally, what drives the dollar is a strong interest rate. When interest rates go up, generally the dollar goes up with it. So we see these move in tandem over time for the most part. The 2-year yield is down today, 1.6%. The momentum is still up, but it could be a reversal candlestick. It is a bearish engulfing candle where the opening and closing price engulfs the candlestick before it, where it could be a potential trend reversal. When looking at that, what we see here is you basically have an uptrend that is going on up, and then you can see the large reversal trend candlestick coming down. So our momentum's coming down, but we haven't broken through the downtrend yet. So that's where I give the could be. So the trend, if you were to kind of look at it from here, the trend is still up, but it is a potential reversal candlestick that we got today where it could try to break out of the trend. We've got the 10-year heading higher. It looks pretty strong, guys. The momentum is still up. Do not see reversal yet. We're at resistance. The resistance going across this way. We have another resistance line going up that way. Still looks good to go higher. And I think this is what's driving the dollar is this 10-year yield and this relentless move on up. The 30-year is also going up on the long end of the curve. This thing's already broken out of all the resistance. It looks good to start sailing it to the upside. I mean, this is going to be full send here to see what happens. Now, this is where things are going to get dicey. As the long end of the curve, the 10 and the 30 start to go up, and when you hit certain critical levels, and the critical levels could be different for some people, it could be around the 5% range. I've heard some people say, you get above 5%, and we could start to see the stock market roll over. And the stock market could anticipate and roll over before we get there. So this could provide a headwind for the overall stock markets like the NASDAQ and S&P 500 and stuff like that. But right now, again, we are underneath resistance here. And underneath, we're coming up through resistance on that one. And now we got to start watching what the heck this is going to do here. We're kind of at that critical juncture here where we could break higher or lower in either direction, right where we're at. TYX TNX ratio, we've got looks like a pretty strong reversal candlestick here, a big bullish engulfing, where we could start to work our way on up. Now, that doesn't mean that yields fall. We could go up with yields going up. This deals with the 10 and the 30-year curve. And today, the 30-year went up more than the 10-year, causing this reversal. So it's not necessarily a tailwind like for gold or precious metals, because precious metals, they like it when the yield curve uninverts and you've got yields that are dropping most of the time. So this reversed on yields going up at a pretty good pace. TLT bond prices are heading lower. A pretty big selling pressure candlestick today. It doesn't look that great. To me, this looks like it wants to go down. We tried playing with this trend line that we've got going on there, but the selling pressure today is quite strong in TLT, and we could see this drop further. This is a support level here that we basically could not get above, and we are putting in a pretty aggressive selling pressure candlestick. This we could see rates rise here, guys. We could see rates rise, and I think that's kind of what gold is pricing in. The 2 and 10, we got the yield curve to uninvert, but it did it in a way where the 2 went down and the 10 went up. We're getting bear steepeners all over the place here, which historically, bear steepeners are pretty rare, but we seem to be doing it all the time. So I don't know what's going on here with the bond market. Maybe there's a problem in the bond market. But right now, we've broken through the trend line there. We started to invert the curve. And now we're uninverting back, and maybe we do a retest. We'll see. The gold price continuing to head lower. We got the stronger dollar up about 0.5%, and yields tracking higher. It's not a huge tailwind for gold. So that, and then the momentum is definitely to the downside. We do get support in this region of 2560s when it first starts, but it comes down to maybe 2500, somewhere in that block. Silver down about 1%. The momentum's still lower. We've got support at lower 29s. We've got platinum down about $6. It is getting a little bit of a larger pullback. Momentum is still down. It's not reversed, and palladium is also selling off. Hey, hopefully we get down here. I'll actually think about buying some if we get down there. And it starts to bottom. I'm not going to buy in a free fall movement, but the one thing that is really interesting is the consistent move lower. We had one kind of partial update right at support, and that's it. For all these, it's like somebody came in and just hit it with a hammer nonstop. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. GDX down. That does look a little bit on the weaker side here. GDXJ and SILJ. Big selling pressure days. They do look like they will continue lower. We are not trying to reverse here, not with these kind of candlesticks that I see. We could see further downside in the metals. That will be, with rates going up and the dollar going up, it's going to put pressure on these sectors in the short term if they continue higher. XE to gold ratio falling a little bit, but we're still above all the supports. We're still above all that stuff. So everything still looks good from that perspective on the long term. Short term, we are getting a move potentially back to that support level. Crude oil down a little bit, down about 0.2% or so. It's holding on right at support, and we'll see if this holds. The weird thing that I will say here is generally, crude oil leads interest rates. And crude oil is not leading interest rates here. So what is going on? Is there a problem in the bond market where someone is dumping treasuries and increasing the yields up, 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 and up? Usually what drives yields higher is oil going up and transmitting inflation into the system, into the consumer price index, and the people's unwillingness to own bonds. And right now, we're seeing oil prices that are down, which is a form of quantitative easing, if they're doing that on purpose, and the bond market in terms of yields are going up. So that's a pretty rare setup, I think. TTF net gas continuing, it's in an upward trend. We have a small down day today, 0.34%, but it still looks good. We've got natural gas in America up about 3.3%. Look at this, guys. What does that look like? Breaking. We got a little break out there. We got some resistance going across there, and we're trying to break through that too. And what we're going to see, hopefully, is higher lows. Then you come in, come across, boom, we've closed, and it's a higher high. So now we're starting an uptrend in natural gas, and hopefully we can get some traction to the upside for our natural gas investments. And that's also got that fractal. You guys remember that fractal where you hit it, comes down, hit it again? It's almost like a cup and handle pattern that's breaking to the upside here, right? To the upside. So that looks good. Natural gas looks very strong. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, up 0.42%. To me, this looks strong. We're up on top of resistance, now support. We're up against some resistance here that we're trying to break through. But that looks really good. It looks good in terms of XOP. OIH down a little bit today, but I still think it looks good. We've got some resistance going across here that we're trying to break out. So we're dealing with some resistance. We've got the big green candlesticks, the small red candlesticks. It's consolidating just underneath resistance. So I think it looks good. And, you know, one thing when I start to look at these things is I start to look at the leaders. You know, what are the leaders doing? The leaders are XLE, and XLE is sitting on top of all this support. So that is incredibly bullish to go higher. So our leaders are breaking out, XLE, those are the big boys. The small guys are starting to break out of their downtrends, and I think they're going to follow suit. OIH is up against some resistance. That's why we're getting these wicks at the top there. And hopefully we can get breaking through following our leaders. Newcastle coal futures down minus 1.3%. We're underneath resistance. We're trying to break through that resistance. We haven't done that yet. It looks very similar to kind of like the cup and handle that we saw earlier. And we're just been pulling back today. We've got Sprothless Uranium Trust down about 1%. That little bloody nose still looks good to go higher. We've broken the longer term kind of, well, not long term, short term downtrend that we've broken. Sometimes you get a return move, and we've got the little bloody nose. So I still think the short term trend is higher. It doesn't mean it can't go down, it just means that the trend is up. Uranium up about 1.17%. We're just underneath resistance. We've got URA down 1.8%. We're between resistance and support. URANIUM down a little bit today, down about 2.4. Still looks okay. We're above support. URNJ, same thing. URNJ's got a little bit uglier looking candlestick here. We'll see if there's any follow through. We're right at support. We'll see if it holds. Copper down. That dollar coming on down. And again, we see these patterns like all the time. And then like a shoulder, head, shoulder, something like that's going on. The strong dollar, I think, is weighing on steel and copper and aluminum. That strong dollar is coming around and just wrecking things. COPX doing the same thing. It's just following copper lower. Still looks okay above a lot of support. We've got iron ore moving sideways. I think iron ores can do well, but we need the dollar to stop being, you know, Hulk strong. The setup's there. It's just been tracking sideways here above support, so it's waiting for the right market conditions. Aluminum pulling back with that strong dollar. The pullback here the past 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and that's DXY has just been ripping. These are all priced in dollars. Nickel down a little bit. Again, that dollar is killing us. We've got Mu down a little bit. That's right underneath support. We're coming into that support region. So there's, here, let me go to all. Your support region is, you know, all through there. So we got support. We're coming to it. The dollar is really hitting all these sectors, guys. the dollar that's hitting it. It's going to hit emerging markets that's been pulling back that dollar. And maybe it's done on purpose. Maybe we were lining up for a big move, which it sure looks like we were lining up for a move of inflation. And the way that you stop inflation is you gotta hit the interest rates way up and then make the dollar really strong because all these things that are priced in dollars would then slow down. It's like holding everything in its pattern. KRE down a little bit. That still looks decent. And no, I wouldn't buy up here. But TAN holding steady. And that's actually a good day for dollar strength and interest rate strength. Lithium up 1.1%. I guess you just can't stop this guy, but this looks like it's ready to break. I think lithium's got a lot of good opportunities. REMX2 looks pretty solid right at resistance, and it is breaking through that resistance here. So we're getting close to a move higher. Baltic Dry Index up 4.88%. That looks good. It's coming back up. A lot of investments there in terms of dry bulk. XHB is holding on. It's holding steady in the face of, what was it? The 10-year was up 0.45%. So it's holding on, but it doesn't look pretty. If yields continue higher, it's just going to come under pressure. Russell 2000 starting to sell off a little bit. We've got the S&P 500 barely hanging on, and then we've got the Nasdaq pulling back a little bit. But this is still a bullish formation. It's a flag pattern pennant formation. It's not bearish, but if yields continue higher, it will put pressure on the overall markets. SMCI, that doesn't care. It's going down 6%. That looks like total garbage. We've got NVIDIA down. Now, this is an interesting setup. We've got a bearish engulfing here. If those interest rates keep going up, curious to see if this thing rolls over. We'll see. Been an absolute powerhouse of a company. Bitcoin, big wick at the top. Could be a potential reversal candlestick to head lower. It's premature to say that, but a lot of the times when you get these big wicks at the top, those could be potential turning points. And if you look at history and you kind of just zoom out and look around, and you look for those candlesticks at the top, those wicks at the top, they generally occur towards the top. There's one here. There's another one here. But usually they don't happen down here. You start getting wicks at the bottom for buying pressure, and then you get wicks at the top for selling pressure. So I'm just kind of looking at history to see what we've got in history here. Yeah, there's a couple of wicks. They start forming at the tops here. That's your selling pressure. So they come up, they sell, 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 sell. They kind of hit that wall of selling pressure, and they can be, and a lot of the times are, reversal candlesticks. And silver had that when silver in 1980 had a huge wick at the top like this. It was way bigger than that in its 1980 reversal candlestick day, month, week. Ethereum also getting some selling pressure. That's up against resistance here. That's that resistance. You can see the wick that we tapped it. Little tap, tap, tap-a-roo right there. And then here we are selling back off. And we'll see if there's any follow through there. Doesn't look horrible, but, we'll see. And the VIX continues lower. I don't know how. The presidency was here, and then boom, they just hit this thing like everything they got. But that's what I've got for today, guys. So give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. Mayday coupon code, just as a reminder, if you'd like to get some savings. And that's all I've got for today. We've got a Sunday question and answer session coming up at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And yeah, I'll see you guys there if you're part of the website, and we'll talk about what you guys want. I might talk a little bit about strategy still, and my viewpoints, because I think it can help a lot of people become better investors. If you understand this information, obviously I'm going to present it in a way that I view it and I view the world. It's not just about asymmetry. I'll talk more about value, ratios, and kind of how you fit the pieces together is what I'm going to talk about. But that's what I've got, and we'll catch you guys next time. This is Finding Value.